Good evening, Mr. Labrador. Thank you for being here tonight. My questions also relate to health care. Last week you said that you don't believe that health care is a basic human right insofar as it applies to that the government should be involved in that. However, you, sir, enjoy subsidized government health care. Why could you please explain to me why you are entitled to subsidized government health care and I am not? Is equality not a founding factor in this country? Why are you given health care or subsidized health care and I have nothing? Where is the equality in that? I work, I'm educated, and I get up every day and do my job. For 22 years I've provided service to this county. I take care of kids. Why am I not entitled to the same level and quality of care as you are?
Great question. So I am a government employee now, and I receive the same benefits as every other government employee who works for the federal government. Before that, I was in private practice, and I provided health care and before I was a government employee, I provided health care for myself, for my family, for my employees, because I was in private practice. I was in a private institution. I didn't rely on the government to do that for me. You're right, I am receiving subsidized health care. I pay most of it, but I receive a subsidy that is being paid by the public. But I'm receiving the same benefits as every other federal employee. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it affordable for every American to receive health, so they can afford health care and it can be affordable for all Americans. You
said that people who are needy should be seeking charity care, should be lining up and asking their friends, their families, and charity services to help. 1,500 people stood in line the same day that you said that, begging for assistance. Many, hundreds were turned away, and myself included. How does charity care lower our taxes, lower the cost of health care, and get rid of our infant fund?
If you listen to what I said that we should provide for each other through the community. But I also said that people that are able, that can't take care of themselves, we do have a responsibility to take care of them.
Can you explain what would that look like? How would that function?
We have Medicaid right now that I think is working.
But it's not been expanded in Idaho.
Correct. But there are people, and the other thing that we're going to do with the bill that we're passing, we're putting $115 billion to cover some of those people that are not being covered by Medicaid. They're going to be covered through this $115 billion.
Don't you think that all of us deserve the same equal access to level of care?
You have the same access to level of care that I do.
No, we don't. Yeah. No, sir, we don't.
Thank you.
Hi, my question is, what is your stance on the south of the border wall that's been planned, and how is that fiscally responsible?
Thank you. Great. So I am for the wall because I believe. Okay. So a wall, I think, is necessary to prevent illegal immigration. However, we need to have an entire immigration system revamped. We have a system that's not working. We need to figure out first we need to do enforcement, then we need to modernize the immigration system, and then we need to figure out what to do with the people that are here. But the bottom line is that we are a sovereign nation, and we should decide who comes into the United States and who doesn't come into the United States.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming here tonight. My name is Joel Velasco. I'm a senior at Boise State University. I graduated in 2 weeks with my Bachelor's of Science in Biology. I invite you all to come out to Boise State Stadium for the centennial commencement that Boise State is putting on. It's going to be on the blue. You guys should all come out. I advocate that we are more alike than we are different. And we are all Idahoans. And if I can provide some context to the questions that we're asking tonight, if you guys want to know why there isn't any movement in government, is because our representatives do not represent us. As soon as we figure this out, no, it's true. It's true. Here, watch. Listen to this.
Wait.
No. See,
let him ask his question.
In this country, we have legalized corruption.
Just don't give a speech. Ask your question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So my question is based around money in our political system. All right, we're never going to see change until we change how we finance our body politic. Because as of now, there's a question here. There's a question here.
Just get to it.
Right. As of now, you have unlimited amounts of money going into our political systems, and you yourself, sir, have received money. Like in 2010, when you were elected as a part of the Tea Party wave, I was in Afghanistan as a part, deployed as a part
question.
of the... No, exactly. So the question is, like, so it's not changed. This last election is a symptom of this cancer. Please, let's understand this. Donald Trump beat the Republican Party in the primaries. In fact, Ted Cruz won here, and the family that backed him, the Mercers, switched their support over to Donald Trump.
So what is your question?
My question is, so here's the question. Okay, we're gonna ask it. Let's be respectful.
Guys, guys.
This is my community. I'm a citizen here, and I'm a resident. So let me speak. Okay.
Wait. Hold on. It actually takes longer if we interrupt people in the middle of their question, and then I have to be here all night, and I don't want to do that. So let him ask the question, but please get to your question.
So you yourself received $1,000 from Donald Trump before he even ran for president. So
what's your point?
So my point is, what are you going to do to change this system? And don't tell me that you're going to announce or you're going to propose limits for our representatives, because we know how the revolving door works. Again, until we change this, nothing's going to change. So
Okay,
your answer,
you.
yes. How will you change it?
Thank you. Everything you said, you're wrong about. I have been the example of what you can do without relying on special interest groups. 10 years ago, I ran for the legislature, and I relied mostly on money from friends and others. 8 years ago, I ran for Congress, and I was not the party establishment favorite. I got from a lot of different people. Thanks. And if you look at the record, most of my money comes from individuals, not from PACs. Most of my money comes from individuals. The reality is that we have a First Amendment, and people have an ability, an opportunity to participate in the political system. Okay, can you stop, please? So you just need to be respectful. I don't want anybody thrown out. I think everybody has the right to be here, but you have been the only one, sir, who has been disrespectful to this group. So what we need to do is we need to find good people to run for office. We need to have people who rely on their friends and their community. But where you're wrong is that the majority of Idahoans disagree with you. Because the majority of Idahoans, if you look at my last election, I received over 60% of the votes. They disagree with you. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that they disagree with you politically. And the state of Idaho is a conservative state that will elect people conservative for most of the things that are happening here in Idaho. But it doesn't mean that the system is broken. I think the system works. And I do believe in term limits for members of Congress. Yeah.
All right, I just have some notes here to keep me on track. So, Mr. Labrador, I was at your last town hall, and you spoke of needing evidence before having an independent investigation formed to investigate Mr. Trump. We all know that if there's a crime, first a person would see evidence of a crime, and then this preliminary investigation would start, or there's preliminary evidence, and hang on one second. That's fine. I thought I made the fun. Oh, so much better. All right, so first a person would see evidence of a crime, and then this preliminary evidence and suspicion would then normally cause an investigation to begin. That official investigation is where you search for and determine if you have enough evidence to prosecute somebody for a crime. At the last town hall you said, and I'll quote some of these are quotes, "I don't think there is anything in the law that requires a president to release his tax returns. And why would I ask for his tax returns when I have no evidence of a crime? which is sort of counterintuitive. And that when Congress gets involved, it's when there's evidence of criminality. And you also mentioned that for the FBI and the CIA, there's no evidence of collusion. If there's no evidence of criminality, you have to have the investigation to find the evidence. So on Monday, February 27th, you voted with all the Republicans to help Trump keep his tax returns secret. Since you voted against it, I'm sure you know that there actually is a law that if the president declines to cooperate and turn over his taxes, this law can be used to obtain his taxes legally for the purpose of a criminal investigation. And that's Title 26 U.S. Code Section...
Criminal investigation for what? What's the crime? What's the crime?
You have a criminal investigation
Of what?
There are several allegations that are being made against Mr. Trump right now. Yes, so exactly. So then you use the taxes. The tax returns are evidence. So in order to be able to get the evidence to be able to investigate further, I just have another point or two, sorry. You need to get the tax returns because they are evidence to find out if there is collusion and if there is other... So the tax returns are part of that process where they are the evidence that you need. We have to follow the information and the evidence to see where it leads. Yeah, and it has to do, let's just, okay. So, thank you.
So,
no, it's not fishing,
it is fishing.
Well, put it back into context, sir. If you put it back into context, if you add all the circumstances together, including your vote on February 27th, why are you protecting Trump and obstructing the investigation and making that evidence you spoke of impossible to obtain?
I'm protecting the rule of law. We live in a country where we don't go into fishing expeditions on people. That is the difference between the United States and just about every other country. You have to have evidence of criminality or of wrongdoing before we start asking people for an investigation. I was a criminal defense lawyer. I would have laughed at the cops if they said, hey, we think your client may have committed a crime, give me all of his records. I would have laughed at the cops if they said that. And the courts would have never allowed that. So what you want is you're unhappy with the election results and you want to go with it. That's not how America works.
No, I could live with the election results if they weren't tainted the way they are.
So I'll tell you what I said at the last town hall. If there is evidence of wrongdoing, I will be the first one there making sure.
How do you find evidence without the investigation?
Yes, you
can. How
can.
do you do it without subpoenaing information to be able to find out?
That's how we always do it. Whenever you have an inquiry in Congress, it's because we have found evidence of wrongdoing or criminality, and that's when we get involved. We don't speculate as to wrongdoing. We actually we do the job when we find evidence of wrongdoing. Watergate was that way, and so was everything that happened under the Obama administration. When there was evidence that somebody committed a crime, that's when we look to make sure that there was sufficient investigation to do that. But I'm not going to go into a fishing expedition just because.
Okay, number 487. Did we have 487? Okay. And while he's ready, the next person will be number 571. That'd be 571.
Hey, on your website and a lot of other statements you've made it pretty clear that you're for the protection of privacy. On your website, RaulLabrador.com, under the Issues tab, the paragraph right there says, it's the responsibility of elected officials to protect the people from an intrusive government. That's why Raul opposes the government from collecting bulk information about its citizens and so on.
Yeah.
But within the last...
And my record will show that I have done that.
Except for a couple months ago, or within the last couple months, you voted yes on a bill that would allow internet service providers to sell the information to third parties, including the government.
That's a great question, and that was a very difficult bill. Remember the discussion we had over here? There are some bills that are not clear black and white. Typically, when the government is trying to snoop or trying to do anything, if you look at my record, I actually have a good ranking from the ACLU, believe it or not. It's not the highest, but because of my civil libertarian side, where I have always been very protective of privacy. What happened this last time, there was a bill that was trying to separate again the responsibilities of the FCC and the FTC. Under the Obama administration, they combined those responsibilities. And some of the biggest privacy protection people in government said that that combination actually made privacy less secure, not more secure. So what we tried to do is to divide it again and to give the FTC and the FCC separate responsibilities, because they were actually doing a good job in the past to protect your privacy. So internet service providers have never sold your personal data, and what was happening is that there was confusion about how to do it. So what we did is we separated them and gave back to the FTC the authority over privacy security, and we were trying to do it in a way that would protect your privacy more. I understand why you're upset about it, but I spent a lot of time studying this issue because I had the same concerns that you did. And what we believed, and I could be wrong about this, but what we believed that this was going to actually give both the FTC and the FCC the ability to protect your privacy more, not less.
On the summary of the bill, it says, just like in the 5 bullet points, it pretty much says that the main thing it regards to is that the internet service providers have the right to not tell you when they're sharing your information.
I'm not sure I don't know that that's in the summary. I would have to see that, but what it did is it allowed, in the past they haven't sold your data. Internet service, Google does. Google sells your data.
You have a choice to use Google or any other website.
I know. So, but that's why we separated it, to make sure that the same protections that you have had in the past, that we weren't having any problem with your personal data being sold by internet service providers. We wanted to give you that protection again.
Did the $10,000 received from AT&T influence that decision?
No. AT&T has asked me several times to sign letters that would have been in their benefit, and I've said no. So the answer is no, it didn't influence it. But thank you for the question.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Harry Ostapenko. I live in Star. Unfortunately, I don't agree on the majority of your positions. Okay.
That's okay.
I understand. It's nothing personal.
Yeah. You're trying to make it personal, but I understand.
Well, you know, politics is, they say it's very local. I'm 70 years old. I'm a Vietnam vet. I spent 1 year in hell in 1968 during the Tet Offense. I'm also a Peace Corps volunteer. In 2005, with another war of choice, did you support Iraq?
I supported it at the beginning, and I think we stayed there too long.
I didn't support it because there was another war of choice, and I hated the country. I left the country in 2005, joined the Peace Corps, and went to West Africa for 2 years, 27 months.
Okay, so what's your question?
Okay, my question. For me, okay, this all started with Reagan. Your God, basically. For the
I own him.
True.
I own him, yes.
Well, for the past 30 years, there's been no income growth for the middle class. It's a fact. Wages are stagnant for 30 years. All income and wealth has gone to the upper 1% of our population, 1 to 10%. Trickle-down economics, we started under voodoo economics, we started under Reagan. That's a sham. It's been proven to be a sham.
So what's your question?
Okay, I'm almost done. In my opinion, you do not support middle-class issues. You have extreme views. I used to be Eisenhower Republican. I don't recognize the Republican Party anymore.
So,
Okay. You are out of the mainstream in public thought. The gridlock,
so you just came
I'm
here to
almost
insult
there.
me? Is that what you did? I mean, just ask. I've been
Okay,
respectful to
okay.
you. I hope you can be respectful to me.
Okay, my question is, we live in a country where the top 1% of the population has the wealth equal to the bottom 49%. That's how much of a wide gap there is. Do you care, number one? And if you do care, what are your policies to alleviate that income disparity, wealth disparity?
So I do care because I grew up poor. I'm a member of the middle class now, and I'm not wealthy. I make good money, but I'm not wealthy. So I do care because it's something that matters to me, matters to my family, matters to the people that I know. I don't know a lot of multimillionaires in this world, but I do know a lot of people that are in that position. And we have a problem with income. And we have a problem, but the reality is that we do have a system. The system that most people believe in is the free market system that allows people to advance and to do better than in most other countries. Look at what's happening in Venezuela right now. Things are terrible because they have tried to by force have people follow socialism. Socialism does not work. What works is the free market. I am a product of the free market. That same Reagan that you disparage is the system that was created by Reagan, allowed a young boy who was the child of a single mom become somebody who became a college-educated person, a lawyer, and now a congressman, because I was given opportunities by this great nation. And this great nation allowed me to become somebody because I decided to work hard, to play by the rules, to do the things that are necessary. Am I concerned about income inequality? Absolutely. But what we see is that as incomes rise, they do rise for most people. And what we have is people that can leave poverty and actually join the middle class. And you see that throughout the ages, especially since 1980, since Ronald Reagan was
The
president.
middle class is being hollowed out.
People have actually risen from the middle class and have become part of the middle class.
I'll give you another example.
Okay, we don't have time. Thank you.
Okay, number 515. Okay, right over here.
Hello. So I have a question.
Yeah, speak into the microphone.
Can
I
you
can't
hear me? Hello?
Yeah, now. Thank you.
Okay, so you were speaking of the necessity of evidence earlier.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, for you personally, how much evidence would it require for you to come to terms with the human impact on climate change? How much evidence would you require for that?
So I like the way you asked the question. So how much evidence would it require for
Personally?
for human impact?
Right, for the evidence of that.
I believe that climate change is real. I believe it happens. I just don't believe that it's all caused by humans.
Okay, how much evidence do you need for them to prove that humans are indeed affecting?
Well,
Because there's a lot out there that proves
There's
it.
not a lot of evidence. The evidence is that over the
90%.
The evidence is that we go in 30-year cycles, and we have heat, and then we have cold, and we have heat, and it's
They have
happened.
done several studies over.
Yeah.
So the last half of the last century, they've been able to track it, and they've found that humans are actually the most contributing factor to it.
I don't think there's any evidence of that.
Yes, and it's
No.
growing. Why?
I'm not a scientist, but I leave the science to the scientists, and I think they should leave the policy making to policymakers.
So how much evidence then? If it's already out there. No. Honestly, no, I really want to know. I really want to know if how much evidence would it require for you then? Because there's so much out there, so how much would it require?
I want to see the evidence.
But there's studies.
That's okay. Thank you.
That's
Okay,
not,
number
that's not
540.
a fair answer, I don't think.
Representative Labrador, thanks for allowing us to speak here. Just for some context, I have voted, depending on an issue, for Republicans, for Libertarian candidates, and for Democrat candidates. I know it's not a popular thing to say, so I'm very issue-oriented, and I feel it's put people who care about public lands and their proper management into a category, a political bucket, like, oh, the left is using this as an argument tool, is really inappropriate.
No, what I said, listen clearly to what I said. I said the left is saying that I want to sell public lands. It hasn't been the right saying that I want to sell public lands. Right. It has been the left. And that's incorrect. You can disagree with my public policy, and I don't care about that, but I do care when people try to misrepresent what I believe in.
Right, and I'm not debating that issue,
Yeah.
And what this gentleman alluded to earlier is something that I actually said earlier. I don't think that you're advocating for their sale, but our state legislature is. Just this year, Senate Bill 1065 had specific language for state agencies to prioritize parcels of land for sale to private interests. That came up this year, and it was killed because of groups, conservatives, that came forward, sportsmen mostly, came forward and said, hey, we don't support this. We hunt on those lands. That puts food on our tables. That's our way of life. That's a fishing hole my grandpa showed me. Those are time-tested elk hunting grounds. And in my elk camp, there aren't a lot of people picking daisies. These are people that want to keep their traditions alive. We want our lands to be managed better, not sold by the state, not by you, but they will sell them. They have a demonstrated history. They've sold 41% of land so far that we will never get back.
So what's your question?
My question is, will you drop this issue to have states who do not have a decorated history of managing lands better? Ask any forester who's worked for the state and for federal lands. Ask any of them. My question is will you drop this issue and support collaborative efforts by local communities, including those that represent recreation industries? I'm talking about mountain bikers, fishermen, hunters, industry representation by miners and loggers. Those people can come together, as demonstrated in the Clearwater Basin Collaborative, to quadruple timber output, quadruple mining, to increase recreation on motorized and non-motorized. There's a demonstrated value here of people working together under the public system. Will you support the collaboratives and drop this effort for the states to mismanage our lands?
I support both, and I think the state can do a better job.
You keep saying that, but they have no demonstrated history of managing them better.
Just go to our state forests and our federal forests and see which ones are healthier, and you can see for yourself.